So anyway, this is me. I'm Joe. I'm a dad. I do real estate. I play outside. I have kids. I love my life. I used to do sales. Okay. So what is the greatest flex? Okay. The greatest flex is not if you have a cool house or a cool car. Okay. The people that have those things when they're not ready for them, it's foolish. And the people that have those things when they're ready for them, it's a side note. They're not doing it to have those fancy things. They're just like, no, I'm where I'm at, and so I have those. But that's not the greatest flex. Okay, the greatest flex is your asset portfolio. All right, that's the greatest flex. If you've got a killer asset portfolio, then yeah, show off your cars, show off whatever you want to do, show off your trips. But your asset portfolio is the key. This is your number one fiscal responsibility. If you're making $1 million a year, but you neglect your asset portfolio, you're missing the whole point of making that money. This is your number one fiscal responsibility, is to build your asset portfolio, because this will allow you to do everything you want to do with your life and your time. And it'll be one of the greatest, most secure ways you can grow your wealth, okay? Now, assets can be more than just real estate. It can be businesses. It can be, having like a book that sells, or a musician, has CDs. CDs, how old am I? Right? Has songs, whatever. There's lots of different kinds of assets. We're talking about real estate though, okay? So that's what we're going to talk about. Money won't make you happy. We've probably all heard this, okay? Unless you go buy the things that will make you happy with the money, okay? Money is just a tool, okay? So if you use that tool to buy yourself freedom, and then you use your freedom to do the things that make you happy, like living a happy, healthy lifestyle and doing the things that you love, pursuing your passions, spending time with family, going on trail runs and cold dipping and traveling the world and meeting amazing people, whatever brings you happiness, cross-stitching at home, watching Price is Right, whatever it is, you can buy that with money. But you got to be intentional about it. If you're spending all your time making money, but you don't buy your freedom, then you can't do those things, okay? So it is good to make money, but how do we do it? Okay, I'll go really fast through some of this. We only have about a half hour. So asset versus liability. Okay, my little 6-year-old teaches this. I ask her every day, what's the difference between an asset and a liability? She goes, an asset goes up in value and gives you money. A liability goes down in value and takes your money. It's that simple. Build your assets, okay? Is that the actual definition? No, it's not. If you talk to your accountant, that's not really the literal definition. But that's what you need to be thinking about when you build your asset portfolio. Is this going to give me money and go up in value? Or is it going to take my money and go down in value? Your car payment takes your money, goes down in value. Real estate goes up in value, right? So I'm going to bust through this really quick. There are 3 main ways that you make money in real estate, and these are all very powerful and very important, okay? You've got cash flow, you've got equity increase, and you've got tax efficiencies. Most ways you invest your money do not have all 3 of these, okay? You go buy stocks, you go buy Bitcoin, you go do whatever. It's not going to have all 3 of these things. Real estate is incredibly powerful because it has all 3 of these things, and you want to consider all of them when you're analyzing a deal and saying, hey, should I buy this property? It's got good cash flow, okay? But what about the opportunity to increase the equity in it? Can you force some equity? Is it in a market that's going to go up in value? Those are things to think about. Now, if you don't have a high tax burden, you're not really paying taxes, the tax efficiency doesn't really matter yet. But when you're paying a lot in taxes, that becomes the number one reason you might be buying certain assets. You'll buy that simply because you're going to save $100,000 in taxes that year. And you'd rather do that than pay that to Uncle Sam. So the tax efficiency can be really powerful, okay? This year in taxes, this is really cool. Now, you can declare your taxes, show very low income, but then they can roll back magically all of the depreciation and expenses and all these things you wrote off. They can roll back and show more income to qualify for loans. So you can be paying taxes on 30 or 40 grand, but then when you roll all of it back, it looks like you made 120 to go qualify for a loan. That is retarded, okay? Tax code is weird, okay? It makes no sense. We talk about equity increase. That's called appreciation. The value of a home's going up. But according to tax code, in 27 and a half years, the value of that property is going to be zero. And you get to write that off like you're losing $5,000, $10,000, $20,000 a year in value. And you're writing that all off on your taxes. Although we all know it's going up in value, right? So the tax code is manipulated in real estate investors' advantage, okay? So take advantage of it. All right, so cash flow, equity increase, tax efficiency. There's two ways equity can increase. One is through appreciation. We all just saw the most gnarly appreciation the past 3 years, right? Everything just, well, that's probably why half of you are here. You're like, wow, real estate can just double in value in 5 minutes? Like, it's crazy. It also can go down, but that's one way. But you can also force equity. You go in and you rehab it. Equity is just the difference between what it's worth and what you owe on it. You can literally just buy something that has equity. So this can all be done residually. You get this baby rolling and it just takes care of itself. Cash flow conference, right? That's kind of the whole point, is you're not trading hours for money because there's only so many hours. You can just scale this and have it get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, and it's still making money residually. I don't say passively. I say residually. You do need to do some work, okay? It might be a minimal amount, but it's not going to be completely passive, okay? So that being said, why real estate is such an investing powerful tool. So those are just how you make money with real estate. But why it's such a powerful tool compared to any other investment tool are these things. You can buy under market. How are you going to go buy Apple stock below the cost of Apple stock? You can't. It's literally not possible, right? With real estate, you could literally go find someone who needs to move tomorrow and will sell their house for less than it's worth. That's incredible. Like, this might sound like, no, duh, we know that. That's really, really powerful. You can literally just buy it under market value. You can't do that with other investment types, okay? Force equity, we talked about that. You can rehab it. You can add value. You can make it worth more than when you bought it. So you bought it at exactly what it was worth, put $20,000 in, and now it's worth $40,000 more. Your net worth just went up $20,000. Like, you can force the equity. I can't make my stock portfolio perform better. I have zero control over that. I can make my asset perform better. I can make it worth more. That's a really powerful tool, okay? Also, one thing that's awesome about it is multiple exits. You have lots of options. If you want to sell your stocks, you just sell it. That's really it, right? Here, you can change. Well, I'm going to 1031 and I'm going to roll it into another investment. I'm going to switch it from long-term to short-term, okay? I'm going to do a special restricted deed where I sell it to this person, but when they die, it goes back to me, and they're set up till they're dead, but then I get it back to give to my kids. Like, there are so many options with real estate. You have so many exit strategies of what you can do with it. You don't just have to sell it. You could sell or finance it. You can do all these different things, which makes it a really powerful, customizable tool, and also makes it really, really safe, okay? Which is actually the last point. Real estate is so safe compared to any other investment out there. Now, some people might disagree, but if you learn the basics, it's really, really safe. Okay, it's actually backed by a physical thing. I've had stock in a company that disappeared. The company said, we're done. We're worth zero. All my money was gone. Anybody a Bitcoin investor in here? Don't raise your hand. We don't want to feel bad for you, okay? A lot of people bought Bitcoin, and I had a buddy he was this close to being a millionaire. He wanted to have $1 million in Bitcoin. It was 879,000 is what he had in his portfolio, and then it was all gone. Now, you can make money with stocks, you make money with Bitcoin, you make money with a lot of that stuff. I'm not saying you can't, but it's not what this is. This is so safe. You buy that house, it's going to be there. If it gets taken out, you have insurance, it's going to cover it, and you go buy another one with your insurance money, okay? 99% of the time, you're covered. Real estate is insanely safe because it's real. It's true. It's actually physically there. Maybe you go move into it, right? It has actual tangible value in life. Okay, so, and then leverage. This is one of the number one most powerful tools with the way we do real estate in the United States of America is being able to leverage money. Now, I grew up, debt's the devil, right? Debt is evil. You should never touch it. It will destroy your life. Dave Ramsey's out there shouting from the rooftop, stay out of debt, stay out of debt, stay out of debt. And here's the thing, guys. I agree 100% with all of that, except for when it comes to buying assets. When you're buying assets, something that's going up in value and brings in money, why would you not use debt for that? Why would you not leverage debt? Don't go buying things in cash. I paid off my house. I had a 2.7% interest rate, you guys. And I hustled. I busted my back. I worked so hard and just paid that thing all the way down to zero. I'm looking back, I'm like, if I had taken that money that I put into paying my home off and just bought 2 or 3 other homes, my net worth would be double or triple what it is now. Now, was that better than blowing it on stupid stuff? Yeah, because what I did do is I went and did a big cash out refinance once I learned how to do real estate, learned how to follow my safe debt guidelines and leverage debt. I pulled out hundreds of thousands of dollars and I went and bought property all over the country so that I could retire. And now I'm millions of dollars in debt now, but it's all self-sufficient. It all covers itself, giving me a couple $100,000 left over to live my life and support my family. I could have done that a long time ago. So leveraging debt is powerful, especially with the kind of debt we get in real estate, you guys. We're talking even now, like 6% interest rate for 30 years. That baby is locked in. And you can get away with putting down 5%, 3.5%, even just 20%. It's very secure. It's very safe. It's cheap money. You need to be using debt leverage to maximize. Now, if you're a big billionaire, if you're Rob Dyrdek and you want to have like no debt and just buy a bunch of apartments, like go for it, right? You're not maximizing your money, but you don't need to. Some of us need to maximize our money to accomplish our goals because we don't have just millions and millions of excess money. Even if I did have millions and millions of excess money, I'm still leveraging debt, baby. That's how you get there. Elon Musk did not cash flow everything out of his own pocket to start his companies. You use debt. That's how you grow. And here in America, we have amazingly generous debt options for real estate specifically. So leveraging debt. I feel very strong about that because that's what was a big, big, big game changer. When I was getting into real estate, because I dabbled. Oh, I should buy something. So I bought a few things throughout the years. But then when I went really in depth and understood it on a scientific, intricate level, I realized that how to analyze a property properly and how to leverage debt properly, that changed the entire game for me. So anyway, I'm very passionate about debt because it's a mind shift for a lot of us. And I had to shift my entire mind. And there's ways to do it safely and there's ways to do it stupidly. And I'll teach you my safe debt guidelines if we have time. So anyway, it's super safe. I'm going to go really fast through these things, okay? The ABCs, you need to be doing 3 things every day if you want to go with your real estate. So write it down because I'm going to go super fast. You need to be acquiring new knowledge. Do this every day, at least do it every week. Even if it's 5 or 10 minutes, 20, 30 minutes, be doing all 3 of these every day, okay? Acquiring new knowledge, studying books, podcasts, coming to seminars. You guys are awesome. You're already doing it. Brand new deals. You need to be looking for new deals. You need to keep your eye on the market of what's out there. It's going to let you know how things are shifting if you're constantly looking, and you're going to find that deal when it comes across your table. Now, like Brody said, you need to know what the heck you're looking for to be able to know when to jump, but always be looking for brand new deals, and then always be looking at your current projects, maximizing your current portfolio. Take a look at that every month, every week. You know, some of that's current projects, just keeping things rolling of what you've already bought, making sure this tenant's happy, doing this, whatever. But maybe you need to look at it, ooh, should I 1031 that into a bigger thing? And what's my return on that now? You know, when I bought it, this was the return, but now the equity's gone so high that the purchase to rent ratio doesn't make any sense. There's so much equity that I should buy something different. Or maybe I should try a midterm rental or a short-term rental. I need to reanalyze my current portfolio to get the most out of it. Well, is Tisha in here? Tisha, she's one of our students. She's actually become a coach. She's amazing. I asked her, she like went, in 1 year, she went like $7,000 more a month in cash flow. And I was like, how did you do that? That's really cool. She's like, well, she had a property that was under rented. She raised the rent on that, moved out of her primary and rented that out, rented out a shed in the back for even more, and then bought a house hack and rented out the basement. That was it. Like, it wasn't complicated. Like, that was pretty simple. But man, extra $7,000 just made her debt free, or like financially free. I was like, that is really, really powerful that you're able to do that. And she, all the tools were sitting there for years. But then when she started meeting with her coach and broke it down and she reanalyzed it, she was like, oh, I just need to move the pieces around. I'm ready to go right now. And that was kind of my story too. That's very similar to me. Once I understood how real estate worked, I just needed to move the pieces around. Now some of you might be sitting there like, well, I don't have any pieces yet. That's okay, we'll get there. Okay, so step 2, so you need to triangulate your strategy. Okay, so you need to know what your goal is. Okay, when are you trying to quit your job? When are you trying to retire? How much money is it? You need to know what your goal is. You need to know your time frame, okay? And you need to know your resources. Because people go, well, is this a good deal? Well, it depends on your goals. It depends on your strategy. Well, what should my strategy be? You don't choose your strategy. Your circumstances choose your strategy, okay? Your resources, time frame, and goal determine your strategy. If you're a neurosurgeon who just graduated and you're starting to be in your career for the next 30 years, you're not worried about replacing your income. You're not quitting your job. That's not your goal, right? And so now you have 30 years is your time frame to build enough cash flow. That's very different than if you had 1 year. And your resources, you're making good money, right? Somebody else might be ready to quit their job. They only need a couple thousand a month to do it, and they want to do it this year. Okay, well, do they have money? You got to look at those 3 things will determine your strategy, your goal, your time frame, and your resources. If all you've got is a HELOC for $100,000, and that's all the money you have in the world, you're going to need to recycle that money. You can't just put that down as a 20% on one property and be like, well, I can't buy anything again for another 10 years. No, you need to find a way to recycle that money where you can put it to use, gain some equity, pull the money back out, do it again, do the Burr method, right? Do it again and again and again. And maybe it might not be that simple every time, but that's what you've got to figure out. Now, if you've got an amazing job and a lot of income, just be putting 20% down and rock and roll and focus on your job, right? That's your different situation. So that will determine your strategy. And everybody's situation is going to be a little different. So last thing on that, once you figure out your strategy, you got to put your blinders on and just do it. Okay, there's going to be a million other awesome deals out there for someone else who's on a different strategy. Put your blinders on. I can't say how powerful this concept is, because when you're getting in real estate, there's a million cool things you could do, and you're going to get very distracted with everything. But put your blinders on and say, I don't care. I'm going to hit $4,000 a month cash flow, and I'm going to do it as fast as I can, and that's what I'm going to focus on. You put your blinders on, and you miss this other deal, and you let go of this deal, and there's this cool flip opportunity. You're like, I don't care. It's not mine. My blinders are on. I'm building cash flow. Or maybe you do need to flip a couple houses to have the money to go buy something, and you're like, look at this cash flow deal, this cash flow deal. No, I don't have the time. I can't eat up my money. I got to go double my money with this flip. That's my focus. Blinders on. Once you accomplish that goal, then you can pivot. I have like a 5 stages goal of how I'm investing in real estate. And the first thing for me was to be able to not work anymore and just build cash flow. And then I sprinted to that, and then I can pivot and start buying appreciating properties that go up in value, even though I don't care about the cash flow, but they're amazing. And then I'm gonna switch and buy pet projects that are really cool, things I wanna hang out in and live in and visit and use and share with my family. But that's number 3. I gotta put my blinders on and be at step 1, and then it's step 2, and then it's step 3. Don't try to do all 3 at once. You won't have the bandwidth to accomplish it, okay? So here's a couple examples, and then we're gonna go to the Q&A. If you look at your goal, time frame, and resource, which is what determines your strategy, here's something you could do. You say, I need $6,000 a month cash flow. I need to do it in 1 year. I've got $400,000 from a cash out refinance of my primary residence. I'm going to put $400,000 into assets providing an 18% cash on cash return this year, and I will hit my $6,000. That's your strategy. Because that is your situation. It was determined by those limiting factors, your goal, your time frame, and resources. That determined the strategy. I didn't make up 18%. Why 18%? Because that's my time frame and my resources. Okay, another example. Your goal is you want $4,000 a month cash flow. Now you have 5 years to do it before you want to quit your job, and you have a $150,000 HELOC. Okay, you're going to burr 2 homes a year that each provide a $400 cash flow. Burring is you buy it, you rehab it, rent it out, and then you refinance and pull out the money you put into it, and then you can do it again. You recycled your money. And if you only have the $150,000 from your HELOC, you can't tie that up forever. You got to be reusing it and pay that HELOC back, and then do it again because you only have that first 150, and that's all you're going to get. So you got to repeat, and it's going to take you 5 years, but you're going to do 2 burrs a year, and you hit your goal. Obviously, there's a million other pieces to this, and there's 1,000 other strategies that you could have depending on your situation. But if you know how to calculate for cash and cash return, and you know how to figure these things out, then your strategy's right there for you, and you may need to pivot it as you go. So commit to doing these 3 things, learn how to analyze a deal, and leverage safe debt, okay?